Welcome to this episode of Doomsday T on DC. And what I'd like to talk about a little bit tonight is I'd like to talk about the movie toys right off the bat. And the reason why I want to do that is I didn't notice, like, I ordered Aquaman figures offline, and with Justice League, you know, I'm just searching toys just to see what I can find, and I found a huge Doomsday, and I can't remember, it came with like a 10-inch, 12-inch Superman, I think, maybe even a Batman, but honestly, it works well with the 6-inch figures, and I'll show you, you'll see on the B-roll clip while I'm talking here on the video what I am talking about. And I don't understand some of the marketing, and is it because it's been so dark? Like, the movies have been so dark, and they went. I mean, I don't know. You're still marketing to kids. I mean, come on. There's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. And for those of you all, might not know, over the last 20 years, probably longer, anything Wonder Woman, DC puts out with Wonder Woman statues, figures, I mean, they're sold out. They're gone. Of course, with Harley Quinn too. But I want to focus on Wonder Woman for a minute. We should have had a Wonder Woman movie. I mean, of course, I could say 80s, 90s, whatever. But I felt like at the turn of the century, we should have had a Wonder Woman movie. But what we eventually got is perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better Wonder Woman than Gal Gadot. She's perfect. If you're not charmed by her smile, by her laugh, just her demeanor, like, watching like B-roll film or watching her outside of the movie, then you're dead. You're emotionally dead. I mean, she's just so adorable, and then to play such a great iconic character and it to be this woman. This girl is Israeli, and regardless of any kind of politics in the world, her being Israeli means that, you've got to serve at least a year, maybe 2 in the Israeli army. So whenever you're 18, everybody does it. So this girl's been trained in Krav Maga or whatever, I mean, she might be Wonder Woman. But going back to the toys, with Shazam, I mean, I've not read one bad thing about Shazam. Of course, everybody says it's a family movie. It's definitely something that DC needed as far as just in tone. But it makes you, you care for the family, you care for what's going on in the movie, and of course it's got humor and there's some dark or whatever. But apparently it's real thorough. From everything I've read, it's real thorough in the story. It's taken a lot from the 52 series. So that's fine. That's the people that have grown up on that, and that's what you've got to learn. People that are in your 20s and maybe even in your 30s, and that's what I've learned over the years. I mean, I understand not embracing certain changes about certain things. Like, sometimes it's just dumb, like what they do. Like, let's take Barbara Pennyworth, for instance. I mean, why would you make in Batman and Robin, why would you make Batgirl Alfred's niece? It really doesn't add anything to the story, where Barbara being Commissioner Gordon's daughter adds a huge element to the story. I mean, just a huge element. And, that's just some writer's crap that they did, and it don't make any sense, but hey, we got Batgirl in the movie, and I did appreciate that. I mean, it wasn't like that was necessarily like a big part or anything. But you've got to embrace change in the comics a little bit, and in the movies a little bit. You still want comic accurate stuff, I understand, because you want to see those stories retold, and I think that's therein lies the problem, is comic book people want want to see what they've read played out on the big screen. You know, if you're a Dark Knight Falls fan, or whatever you're a fan of, Kingdom Come, or Dark Knight Returns, whatever whatever you're a fan of, you want to see that played out on the big screen, just because. But I feel like with Shazam though, I've had to order those toys, but I don't know what's released, or is it just my local store? I mean, I remember whenever DC would release anything, well, even like with Man of Steel. I mean, I bought Man of Steel toys at the Walmart or wherever, and I'm just not seeing a lot of that. Like, I'm not seeing the figures that I want to buy. I'm not seeing things I want to buy, and I don't understand that. And I don't mean probably shouldn't have started off with this, but I did want to talk about that Doomsday toy. I thought it was an interesting toy. It's huge. I never saw it anywhere, and it seems like to me it had Spanish on the packaging. And I open everything. It's rare that I have anything that's still in a package. It's just the way I roll. I'm a collector. I want to touch it. I want to see it. I want to display it. I want to smell it. I want to you know what I mean? I want it in my hand. And I'm the same way with music. I mean, MP3s are fine, and of course putting it on my phone and be able to have it on my radio and Bluetooth it is wonderful. But I want stuff in my hand. I want hard copy. I want it in my hand. I want to touch it. I want the artwork. I want this and that. But anyway, I'm a little confused on the marketing of the toys, and I don't understand that. But let's get into something I wanted to bring up while we were talking about the DC Extended Universe. The Black Adam movie. Since we're talking about Shazam, and Shazam's getting ready to come up, and I'll be able to see it here in a couple of weeks, and I'll give you my review on it. And I still want to talk about Aquaman at some point in some of these, but word came out, I guess that was this past week, on a Black Adam movie. Of course, we know The Rock has been cast as Black Adam, which is fine. And everybody was wanting to know, well, how are you going to have a Black Adam movie, without Shazam? Easy. You follow the Carter Hall story with Hawkman. I mean, and this is so perfect. And rumor has it that Atom Smasher and Stargirl is in it. And if they put Wildcat in this thing, or they put anybody else, I mean, with Hawkman, Stargirl, and Atom Smasher, and of course Black Adam, I mean, you've got to feel like that we're getting a Justice Society put together in these movies that is, I mean, it's like DC secretly, like they keep saying, oh, we're not going to do ensemble movies, or at least team-up movies, but yet we're getting ensemble movies, or, you're getting these other characters in these movies, whether you like Birds of Prey. I mean, my gosh, you've got Batgirl, Harlequin, Huntress, Black Canary, and whatever, who knows? I mean, there's rumor Nightwing might be in it, a little cameo of Nightwing or whatever in it, so that would be wonderful. But it seems like DC's real good about, like I say with Suicide Squad too. You're introducing a lot of characters in these movies without officially saying like it's a team up, or you know what I mean? It's like, logically what they're saying and what they're doing is not the same thing, and nobody's calling them out on it. But I'm over here giddy about it because like I said, you're getting who knows who else we're going to get in any of these movies. I mean, you could easily have Our Man, or whoever, Sandman, whoever in this Black Adam movie. Who knows who they're going to cast and who's going to be in, who they're going to throw in. So they just keep on preaching this no team up thing, but yeah, here we are. And the only other thing I wanted to touch on movie universe wise, because it's been a big story the last few days, is the Flash movie, which you had the guys, is it Matthews and some, I don't know, the guys that did Spider-Man Homecoming which logically makes sense that these guys would do a Flash movie. Flash is fun, and Flash needs to be a little bit lighthearted, like Shazam appears to be. So, so you've got Ezra Miller and the legendary Grant Morrison that redid the Justice League comics and made them wonderful, and has wrote plenty of offshoots and this and that and Batman stories, and Grant Morrison is a wonderful comic book writer. So you've got Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison that's came to Warner Brothers and been like, Ezra don't want to do this lighthearted Flash movie, and he wants a shot with him and Morrison writing a more darker, I guess, Zack Snyder verse Flash movie. So, as I said in the first episode of Doomsday on DC, or Doomsday T on DC, Ezra Miller wouldn't have been my first choice for Barry Allen. So, are they going to recast him? I mean, what if is this going to work? I mean, are they going to accept this other script by Grant and Ezra Miller that's both writing this script? I mean, once again, I'm not complaining. If this works out and the script is great, then I'm all for it, because I want as many solo movies, as many team-up movies as they can put out. I mean, I want one a month or one every other month if they would do it. But cutting out, and because I mean, these guys have moved on. The guys that were writing the Flash movie and had wrote Spider-Man Homecoming, if I'm not mistaken, they have moved on at this point. I'm not sure if they're under contract with DC or not, or if they have a script wrote. I think they did, or they do have a Flash script wrote. And you've got Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison writing a darker script because they thought it was too light. Scares me a little bit, just because I feel like these guys that wrote Spider-Man Homecoming, I feel like probably had the tone right for a Flash movie. And come on, it'd been real easy to interchange Barry Allen to Wally West. I mean, if they wrote the movie and it was Barry Allen and Ezra Miller, and that's what they were going to do with this movie that was with the Homecoming writers, and Ezra Miller all of a sudden, well, I don't want to do it because it's not what I want, whatever. It's real easy to recast it and write in Wally West instead of Barry Allen as the lead, and recast the guy and bring it in, and then you got a Flash movie with Wally West that's this fun, Homecoming-esque movie. So we'll see how that plays out. This is definitely a little bit of interesting drama, and I'm just going to touch on this a little bit because there's too many of these stories, I guess, in the world. But the guy that was over, he was the Asian guy that was over, basically, I guess, the DC Entertainment Division or whatever. And I don't know the whole story. I ain't read it because I don't care. I do care. But apparently there was some consensual something with this girl, and it was somebody being cast and whatever. And so it was a little shady, and this guy's been fired, or he's quit or resigned or whatever. Okay, good. And this guy has said certain things that a lot of DC fans didn't want to happen and didn't like. But like I said, what I just said, what they have been putting out, though, has been, we're still getting a bunch of DC characters in these movies. And I think even with the Shazam movies, from what I'm understanding, I'm really trying to stay away from spoilers on it, but we're getting some sweet stuff, and we're getting the whole Shazam family. So, like I said, this guy, even though he said, what he has said about doing the team-ups, it seems like we're still getting team-ups in these movies. So, I'm definitely happy about it. I'll take it, that's for sure. And as far as comic book news this month, I wanted to touch on the Knightfall series, which when it first came out, and then once again, introducing villains, you never know how that's going to be, and Bane has been a villain that took off and has been one of the main Batman villains ever since Knightfall. Played out really well. Bane, of course, in Batman and Robin, was a goon. Why would you even basically just use the name Bane and made him a goon? And he was, it wasn't Bane, and Bane's a smart guy. And so, whatever, I guess I just wanted to throw that in to maybe squeeze him in a movie. But, of course, in the Nolan trilogy, Bane was more human. He didn't pump up on the venom. I appreciate, it's not, and that's probably my least favorite of those three movies for sure. And let me tell you, as much as I like Dark Knight Returns, man, come on, Batman Begins is one of the best origin movies. I've watched it over and over. Batman Begins, to me, is just one of the best hero movies. To me, it's definitely the best Batman movie that I saw. But anyway, the realistic Bane, the realistic Batman, the realistic Joker, the realistic Nolan trilogy, you've got to, I totally respect it. Making it realistic that, if this was to happen in real life, this is how it would go down. And Nolan definitely made it believable that a man could be Batman. Where Donner made you believe a man could fly, Nolan made you believe that a man could be a vigilante and pull it off. So I definitely appreciate that. But anyway, going back just to the Bane character, you never know what's going to stick. You throw stuff against the wall. But the Knightfall series was changing and breaking Batman's back and how it was done, how it went down. And if you've not read those stories, go back and read it all the way through to, that ain't The Dark Knight Rises, but Dark Knight Falls. Oh gosh, but just read through to where Shiva trains Batman, or gets Bruce. His back is healed, and Shiva is training him and puts out those assassins on him and everything. You've got to read all the way through those books and get the full story. You can't stop at Knightfall. But I just always enjoy whenever they can sell a villain to you and it works. And because my first gut instinct a lot of times is, I don't want to like this guy. I don't want to like this villain. But, it wasn't, even though Bane is powerful and Bane is this and that, Batman was pretty wore down. It was, the story surrounding the eventual breaking of the bat is a great story. And Bane, he deserves, I guess, his place in the Batverse as a villain. And I'm looking forward. I love him in the games. He's always a hoot to try to beat in the games. So I'm maybe looking forward to him appearing at some point in this new DC Extended Universe movies, set of movies. So I just wanted to touch on that. And like I said, to me, Knightfall, that's where The Dark Knight Returns was the beginning of changing of comics. The Knightfall series really put that to use with a great story. Just adult enough and just kid enough for kids, teenagers, young adults to enjoy those comics. And to me, that started DC's run of just really good stories, and it started to me with Knightfall. And this is whenever they redid World's Finest, we'll get into that maybe next week. But the artwork on World's Finest and the stories on World's Finest, people don't even know. They look at Batman and Superman and they only think of maybe them individually, or they think of them together maybe as the Justice League or whatever. Those World's Finest books are some of the best stories wrote in general, and then using those two iconic characters in that book, and the artwork is just the stories, the artwork, where they go with it is so brilliant, it will blow you away. But maybe we'll get into that next time. But appreciate you all watching, and appreciate all the views and likes and comments, at least personally to me, about the last video. But we'll try to get back on here in a week. I know I'm a little bit late getting this one up. I appreciate watching, and that is Doomsday T on DC for this week. And thanks for watching. See you next time. Be good or be good at it.